2 years on, the streets are clean and the barricades have gone, but the trauma lingers.
It was a structured plan. Go first in, disable the sprinkler system so that when you set fire, it's not going to be able to be activated and put out the fire. Go straight in, cut through the roof, pull out the insulation in the roof, bring 5-litre bottles of fuel with you, set it on fire, spray paint the same rhetoric on the walls, and most of the places they defecated in them as well.
Melanie Vanessa is a representative for businesses in Pietermaritzburg, where the destruction was rampant. One of the thousands of businesses that were destroyed here was owned by self-starter entrepreneur Sabelo Vilakazi. He was seen in a video tearfully speaking to government leaders as they visited the damaged sites days after the unrest began.
My staff crying, not knowing where will they get their next meal from. Last week was the worst. Because they rely on me and I have to be strong for them. You know, it's heartbreaking.
That is devastating because when I look back, I mean, I never saw anyone again till today. And that is sad.
Vilakazi began working in 2011 as a street vendor. His skills for developing business saw him rise among the ranks at Edendale Mall. He owns a range of accredited companies.
She was a single mother and she was a street vendor. So she used to make cookies and fish for me to sell in my neighborhood. And that's where the love of business started. But this mall in particular shaped my career because
on 11th July, President Cyril Ramaphosa was due to address the nation about easing lockdown restrictions. Vilakazi would finally get to reopen his restaurant.
Here and we cleaned the restaurant so spotless because we were so excited that we were going to open the next day. And
it had been 3 days since the incarceration of former President Jacob Zuma. At the tail end of Ramaphosa's speech, he remarked on the emergence of violent protests.
This violence that has engulfed some parts of our country must come to an end.
But throughout the night, acts of criminality surged across the province.
Able to get inside here at about 4 o'clock. And I witnessed people taking things from my stores. I mean, I had fire all over. And, you know, I remember there was mud even in the mall, people taking stuff. It was just devastating.
The cost of damage to Vilakazi's business amounted to 11 million rand. He's managed to rebuild better than before via insurance claims. His restaurant remains closed. But he has some advice for young entrepreneurs.
Please have insurance.
The damage to infrastructure countrywide surpassed 50 billion rand. More than 150,000 jobs were lost and over 350 people died. Among them was 19-year-old Sanele Ngomezulu. He wanted to be a videographer, but days after the unrest, his body was found here in Phoenix. He'd been shot dead. It's difficult for his mother to talk about his murder. It's opening old wounds with no sign of justice.
Ebuhlungu kakhulu. Sinabantwana bethu abafayo, sinobaba bethu, njalo njalo. Mina ngashonelwa indodana, bathi icala le ndodana yami laphela kanjalo. Njalo mangithi ngiyalandela ngiyazama ukukhuluma nomseshi uvela ngitshela ukuthi ubufakazi abuhlangani. And of which I understand ukuthi ubufakazi abuhlangani kanjani ngoba mina la kwashonela khona indodana yami kunezitolo nginesho lapha yana ukuthi kwakunama camera since kunezitolo it's a small shopping what but ngathi mangibatshela leyo nto ukuthi abahambe bayofuna ama camera wakhona instead bathi akuye mina ngiyowafuna lawo ma camera nganga understand ukuthi mina if kuyibona abaseshi or amaphoyisa basho kanjani ukuthi akhambe mina ngiyofuna lezo zinto webona bengenza umsebenzi wabo.
Police and the courts have been slow to find and convict alleged looters, instigators and murderers linked to the unrest. Two brothers who were accused of murdering a young man in Phoenix were acquitted of the murder charge because of a lack of evidence, with the judge blaming shoddy police work. In another case, at least 65 people are before court for allegedly coordinating some of the violent events over a WhatsApp group. Their case resumes next year. But while these various cases unfold, police are yet to pinpoint the principal instigator of the unrest. Meanwhile, families and businesses alike continue to mourn their losses without redemption 2 years on.
Every time thina si approach uJuly kuyavuka lokho ukuthi konje this is what happened. Yabo nje kubhlungu kakhulu. Mina ke nje myself, the whole month of July it's my mourning month. I mourn for my son ngoba yeah.
Happened to us, you know, nobody is actually discussing it. And nobody understands the psychological part of it and the fact that we lost things that we loved. You know, it's very sad because I feel like there are so many people who lost so many things during the time of looting.
Newzroom Afrika on channel 405. I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.